Americans love their superheroes. In comic books, collectibles, and at the movies, superheroes embody our longing for a world with a clear sense of right and wrong, one where good wins in the end. Heroes are powerful, victorious, and capable of fighting enemies on our behalf, both on the big screen and in comic books. And while everyone loves a superhero story once in a while, some people take it to a whole new level.
I started collecting as a kid about 40 years ago. My name is Alan Stewart. I'm the director here of the Hall of Heroes Superhero Museum. We are preserving the largest superhero memorabilia collection in the world, and it's also the coolest museum in the world. Our museum consists of between 60 and 65,000 comic books, which is pretty much from 1938 to present. We actually have every superhero comic book from 1956 to present. We have over 10,000 toys, movie props, over 100 pieces of original animation cells, original comic book art. It's just a massive collection. A lot of the old show stuff, like the old costumes that we have, that's a big nostalgia thing for folks. We're like a two-fold time machine. Not only are we preserving the 80-year history, we take them back to their childhood again. My real passion is preserving the history, because people were always contacting me wanting to see the collection, things like that. So I decided to build this museum. Never imagined that, 10 years down the road, I'd be looking that I'm going to have it outgrown and I'm going to have to, move it again. Right now, we bring about 10,000 visitors to my backyard, which is kind of nuts. The new facility, we hope to bring at least 100,000 people off the toll road. I grew up very poor. We had more money. My father would have been much more generous. If I wanted something, I'd figure out a way to go out and earn it. I had 2 paper routes to keep up with my comic book habit. I'd get on my bike and I'd ride 4 miles downtown Elkhart, get 100 comic books, and ride 4 miles all the way back home. That's when I really started seriously collecting it.
I ran into Alan at the comic book shop, and Alan mentioned that he was going to open this place up. I visited so many times afterwards. Alan said, "George, you're here all the time anyway, so put you on the board of directors." And here I am, having the best time of my life. I couldn't ask for a better friend or a curator. Well, there's a tremendous amount of history in comic books themselves. You actually have Captain America punching out Hitler. Well, we were actually reading that comic book 3 months before we went to war with Japan. There's history right there. World War II is really big for me because my grandfather was one of the top 5 most decorated soldiers of all of the Allied war effort. Right now I'm working on a big history project to prove that he is the influence for the Sergeant Rock comic book character, which is really cool. But that's kind of where my tie-ins kind of come in with the comic books and the World War II stuff. I'm just a big history buff and I love comic books, so the two just really mix very well together for me. It wasn't so cool back in the 80s, to be a nerd. Well, nerds kind of got beat up, and I was short, very thin, got picked on a lot, and which is how I ended up getting into martial arts, was to just kind of defend myself. And then after high school, went into, as a military, became a fitness trainer, and with that training, then I learned that bigger bullies were just easier targets at that point. I've actually tried to model myself after Batman. Well, Batman didn't have superpowers, and I haven't figured out a way to scientifically give myself superpowers without killing myself, because I'm not a chemist or anything, so the Batman way seemed to make the most sense. My kids obviously grew up around this. Saturday morning, Tori and I would get up, have cereal, we'd sit on the couch together, watch TV. My kids have their stuffed teddy bears. She has stuffed Spider-Man, and she just took it everywhere with her.
That's kind of embarrassing. I swear I was never going to be like that when I got older. I was like, I'm never going to have memorabilia and collect things like my dad. I go see the films, maybe read the comics that some of the films are based off. That's about as much as I'll go into. I'm into it, just not as much as him. Which is kind of disappointing for him, probably. It's just been kind of weird, having more fame attached to it now, but that's because it started off as just a weird collection in my basement. Tonight we're actually doing the Hall of Villains haunted house here. Black lights, all spooked up for Halloween, obviously.
Usually after I get my makeup, my costume on, I gotta practice a little bit, I get my A game. Looks good, my glasses look sweet.
Capture Batman after 377 tries, so I'm pretty happy.
Line right up. All right, we got rules for your safety. Halloween is like Christmas to me. Favorite holiday, hands down. Which is why, to me, the Hall of Villains is our coolest event. So the rule is you don't free Batman, okay? Harley's gonna tell you the consequences of such actions if you should attempt to do so.
All right, so if you let Batman go or Robin, I wouldn't be doing this if I probably wasn't in costume because I would be shaking and paranoid and scared. I've just had a lot of things happen to me, bullying in that kind of a sense. And getting to put on a costume or a cosplay for me, it makes me more confident.
Volunteering with Alan in the Hall of Heroes has just given her an outlet. When things were difficult, it was something that she could do to help somebody else.
This is year 5 for Grand Rapids. The line was down the block, down to the bridge. This is probably the smallest con that I do, but it's the one I enjoy the most because I know a lot of people on the staff. It's kind of like family, you know, working this con. And everybody knows me, so it's really cool. So I feel like a celebrity, which is kind of cool.
Alan started to put together the Hall of Heroes Museum. And he said, it looks just like the Justice League, and it's just, wow.
He had a collection that couldn't be beat. I mean, he was blown away, and
yeah,
you know, I'm sitting there going, wow.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I'll kick it around and come back and talk to you about that.
Sure. On the frame with it too.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Absolutely. Let me think about that.
We are going over to Alan Bellman's booth, which he is one of the last living artists that worked on Captain America during the 40s.
So that's where I'm like. She did this costume just to get a picture with you. I told her I would make sure to thank you.
In the beginning, we were thought of as second-rate artists. We didn't have the respect we have today.
Alan's like my grandpa. I love him to death. And every time I see Alan, I worry that this is going to be the last time I'm going to see him because he's 93.
What can I say about Alan Stewart? Nothing but good. Great guy. And the thing that he's doing for the comic book industry, to leave behind a legend of what we guys are doing now.
Now, don't you look great in a Wonder Woman outfit? Do this. There you go. You guys ready for the cosplay contest? Wow. I guess so. Our first contestant, come on up. Give a big hand to all the contestants that were here today. They did a great job, everybody did. We're out of room for exhibits, out of room for the Hollywood cars, so we need a larger facility for that. We can really host a lot of cooler and larger events with more room. We're very excited about the new facility. It's 3 times the size of this one. We're going to have a lot of new things. We're going to expand on the history section. We're going to have a total recreation of the Batcave set from the 60s. With the cave looks, the Bat computer, everything, and then have the Adam West suit on display there, and then we hope to eventually get a Batmobile to have in the center of that cave. So yeah, we've got some big plans for the new place. It's going to be really amazing. Yeah, I've been collecting almost 40 years and it's still not big enough, so I couldn't really imagine collecting anything else. I wouldn't feel fulfilled, would be kind of the thing. You know, I wouldn't have the passion, I wouldn't have the goal, I wouldn't, this is kind of my life's work. I think I'm probably more like Peter Pan. I just refuse to grow up, so I'm still playing with my comics and toys at almost 50 years old. I won't be done by the time I am no longer on this earth, no doubt.